Well, hello there. Welcome to our little shop. And today we have a bit of a gem for you. This guitar came in over the weekend, and I was under the impression that it was a new guitar. But from what I'm seeing lay out here, that is probably not the case. I only have about 18 minutes involved here looking this over, and I have found plenty. When the customer brought it in this weekend, we also mentioned it had some fret problems. He's talking about some buzzing and stuff, and I checked the frets. It actually was looking pretty good until you get right up in this area, and then things start getting wonky. You can see where I've already started marking out some high spots. So I'm going to try to do a light fret dress on this. We're going to try to keep it off the neck jig. Like I say, he's just purchased this guitar recently, and he wants to get it to where he can play it. So we're going to do as little fret work here as possible to get this lined up. If I want to do major fret work, I'll go over here in the pile and find something else. I got plenty of refrets, lots of other stuff to do. We're going to try to get this one rolling fairly reasonable for him. It has a huge bow in the neck. I told him the relief in it was actually more than what I put in a base. The nut is extremely high. It's got shims underneath it, which gets us to another thing. If you look at this nut is probably 4 times as high on the base side here as it needs to be. And getting into the nut here even more, here's another clue we've got issues. One of the mounting screws is missing, and this one is some cheesy little, bolt that someone's found. I'm actually doubting that his lock actually seats here because of this, because this is more of a round head screw. So we're probably going to have to plug those holes and re-drill those and put actually decent screws in them. That's after I adjust the neck. Give the whole guitar a good once over. I've also found that not only is the jack loose, but it's worn out, and someone has been in here and done a real hack job soldering this. So he's going to get a new input jack as well. Someone's replaced one spring back here. I've already tightened up the neck bolts. So here we go. Like the man said, here I go again. I'm just missing the crazy redhead on the Jaguar. Anyway, off we go. Alright, well, let's get you caught up here. We've been into this for just a little bit over an hour at this point. I've got the fret work taken care of. I've plugged the holes up here and re-drilled them. Shim the nut properly. Somebody's been filing out underneath this nut. They've been sanding out underneath it, and I actually had it uneven. It's not level. That's why they had the huge shim underneath it. So what I've got is one size shim on one side, another side of shim on the other side to make it actually work out. So I actually have the action set on it right now to make sure everything is okay. All that's good. The neck is adjusted. Our next move is to get the strings off this, take the pick guard off. We have to tighten up his volume and tone pots because they're just loose and flopping around. They're just spinning. I can see the pots are moving inside. Going to take care of that. We're going to replace the input jack. Then we're going to set the rest of the guitar up. Something else is bugging me. He's using lighter gauge strings on this guitar, and they've got a semi-staggered pole piece configuration. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I'm really concerned about his D string an A string being pulled intonation wise here. So let's see what kind of pickup they've got in this, see if we can do something about that. May be able to, may not be able to. We'll see. For you that haven't noticed this before, I have a problem with staggered pole pieces, especially the guys using 8, 9, and 10 gauge strings. The problem is the staggered configuration in a lot of cases is made to match a 7 1/4 inch fingerboard radius with flat wound strings and a higher action from the 50s. When you start using lighter gauge strings and something like this, which is a 16-inch radius fingerboard, we get into all kinds of problems. I mentioned this quite a bit on my Fenderitis video from way back. A lot of people say that the tone of a single coil pickup is actually the staggered pole pieces. Well, no, it is not. If you want, now you see it, now you don't tremolo effect and intonation issues, well, there you go. Otherwise, you have to drop the pickup way down to where it really doesn't do its job, just to avoid the magnetic pull. So let's carry on with this guitar and get it done. Well, we've got some more work done. So to give you a quick rundown right now, we've tightened up the tuning machines. Of course, we've taken care of this nut here that we talked about earlier. The fretwork has been done, the fingerboard's been oiled and cleaned up. We've taken the pick guard off, tightened up the electronics, got that solid. We now have flat pole pieces on the middle pickup. Now, next thing I'm going to do is put the new input jack in. Something else I'm going to do before I string this up is take the saddles out of this and clean this bridge plate up, the base plate for this tremolo, and check something else very important. There's two main reasons a Floyd Rose style tremolo will malfunction. One is up here where the nut is loose, that we've already addressed that problem. And two, the reason for taking the saddles out is to make sure all the bolts that hold the spring block, the tremolo block in here to this base plate are solid. A lot of times I'll actually even put Loctite on those, keep them from working loose. We've got to take these saddle stuff off to get to it. So anyway, let's get this jack in and then we'll tear this tremolo apart. Well, we have our jack in, we've got the tremolo all balanced back up, intonation's all set, we've got our pickup height set. We're ready to rock and roll. Got it all put back together. So let's see how this tremolo works. That'll pass. Cannot ask for much better than that. It's okay. Let's wrap it up. So there you go. And Ibanez Jem taken care of. We're all set here. Like I say, we've done some fret work, remounted these locking nut. We did have the loose screws back here, the loose bolts and the tremolo that I mentioned earlier. Didn't surprise me. We balanced it all up, set the intonation. We've been over the whole guitar. So, here you go. One more done. I still have a few more hours in the day here to go, so I got to get back at it. So, So next time, play nice. I'll see you later.